think, in terms of the audience, our main thing was when we started was, we want to showcase young founders, give young founders a voice. A lot of the things that we see online on, media and all, other people who've raised some funding or, have done like larger businesses, but the younger ones or the ones who've just recently started off don't really have a platform to be able to show that. Talking to people, right? A lot of people start with saying that it's a brilliant idea, I feel like it'll do really well. And then you ask them, like, okay, how many people have you spoken to about this? Is this a problem that they also feel they want something, want someone to solve? And the customer discovery, the customer feedback, and getting surveys done by, and actually finding out the root cause of the root problem, that's why that, okay, this is a problem, this is an idea that one really needs to work on. And I would say, if you have an idea, you're not finding the right co-founder, because again, having a right co-founder is extremely important. It can't be someone you don't know at all, because then that will have another set of huge problems later.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the another episode of Builder Talk. In today's episode, we have sitting with Anisha Parikh. She is building StarterSky and the Hackberry, the platform that's built for Gen Z entrepreneurs. When we train the kids from their high schools and their colleges about entrepreneurship, she provides them a system where they actually ideate, validate, iterate, and build their products. Just imagine an ecosystem where there are so many curious brains comes together and they discuss about the ideas, innovation. So the vibe, I totally can imagine, I can feel it. That will be the up to the next level. So this is something that Anisha is building. In today's episode of Builder Talk, we have discussed so many things, like how to actually get the idea, what's the framework for it, how to validate, how to market, how to sell, and how to actually get the paid customer for it. Because that's the very pain problems of every entrepreneur, is that we build the product, we have the users, but how we actually get the paid customer for it. So we have described all the answer of these questions. So if you are someone into the building journey of your life and these kind of questions actually coming in your head, then this podcast is the one-stop solution for you. So let's dive in it. Hi Nisha, welcome to Builder Talk. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you so much, Ashish, for inviting me to be part of your podcast. I'm really excited about today.
Amazing. So let's start by knowing your journey. So what actually inspired you to building Starter Sky?
Sure. So, I've always loved building things. I think I've pretty much been an entrepreneur my entire life. And, that's just how I am. I love the process of actually creating something from nothing and kind of, seeing the outcome in that. But Starter Sky actually started a little different, in a little more unexpected way. It kind of came about from a conversation I was having with my daughter. So I think one day we were just chatting about, entrepreneurship, founders, interesting things that people were doing. And she asked me this question that, is there a place where I can actually see what teenagers and young, Gen Z are building? Like, is there a place where I could actually see what they're doing? And we started looking, and we searched online, looked at Google, kind of checked everywhere, and couldn't really find something that really appealed. There was no platform that was actually showcasing young founders. And that's sort of when it hit me. And I turned to her and I was like, why don't we just build it? That's what it started. And then we were like, okay. And so we did. Actually took a few weeks, built a website, starting reaching out to young founders globally. And what we discovered was incredible. There's
Mm-hmm.
so much happening in this space. All these young, brilliant people starting something. But the problem was they didn't have really a voice. They didn't have the visibility. And that's sort of how Starter Sky started. not from a business plan or market research, but from a genuine need that we sort of experience. And honestly, the more we kind of dug into it, realized that this was something that, was needed. And, that's how it kind of started the whole journey.
That's incredible. So you basically saw that that is some sort of problem in your own life, and you just try to solve it, and you suddenly realize that that's the problems of millions, and this is the story of how I started Sky, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Okay, so when you actually start this product?
Um, well, actually, last year, 2024 December.
Okay, and just for curiosity, I'm asking, how much time it will take you to execute the idea, like the day you got the idea and the day that you actually got that real product. So how much day that will took to you?
So actually, we started discussing this end of last year, and we literally took about 2-3 weeks, and we launched it.
Oh, that's really amazing. So
Yeah, it was.
you build the website by your own self, or you use some sort of tools for building it?
Yeah, I built it on my own. I mean, I use now you have so many ready ones that you can use. I mean, now there's Lovable, there's Wix, there's there's so many. I think you can use whatever works for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that we wanted to just start right away. It didn't really, I have basic skills that I could definitely use to start something. And then I thought that, if we need someone later on in terms of helping more in the, detailed coding and all, then we can get somebody to help us. Now, of course, we have someone back end, but I started off the website myself.
That's great. Yeah, that's the actually the beauty of founder app itself. Like sometimes you just got something, you don't know marketing, just research about it and you go deeper into that part. You become the expert of it.
Absolutely. I think it's something that you can learn as you go about it. Now there's so many tools, so many things out there. You can just do some research, talk to a few people, and then start it on your own. So you don't have
Absolutely.
to be an expert to do it, but I mean, you can definitely learn from the experts that are out there.
Okay. So our audience are a little more curious about what kind of features that Starter Sky have, what programs that you actually supported there.
Yeah, so because we started, our focus has been on Gen Z. So it's basically 15 to 25-year-olds. And what we realized is that, people are starting their journeys or starting to build something much younger. So they have great ideas and they want to get into the space of actually starting something, but they don't necessarily know how to do that. So, you know, we realize that every founder needs help at the 0 to 1 stage or even before that, So, like I would say before zero, actually, that's where the real gap is, where they have this great idea but they just don't know how to go ahead. And that's why we realize that starting programs, creating educational programs around this is something that a lot of founders would need because they're at the younger age. And as you grow, of course you will learn, but just to help them start off, that's where we realize that validating your idea and then getting your idea to actually launching, that's sort of where they need the help. And of course then we're looking at helping them in terms of mentorship and taking it forward from there. So that's what we're kind of looking at.
So currently, are you operating the entire Starter Sky program virtually, or they have some offline centers as well?
So currently it's all online and it's virtually, but we're looking at maybe doing a couple of them also in person.
Okay. I was just visiting the Starter Sky website, and I saw that there are so many global founders. I mean, Gen Z's founders are also featuring into that. So
Yep.
building a product from India to the world is a very big thing. So how you actually got those kind of people for the Starter Sky?
Well, I think, in terms of the audience, we our main thing was when we started was, we want to showcase young founders, give young founders a voice. A lot of the things that we see online on, media and all, other people who've raised some funding or, have done like larger businesses, but the younger ones or the ones who've just recently started off don't really have a platform to be able to show that. So we said, let's look at founders across. Let's look at people who are doing interesting things around the world, and then we kind of started reaching out to them. They were building really amazing things, but no one knew about them, right? So they weren't on media, they weren't on panels, they hadn't raised any money, they were just quietly creating in their bedroom or their dorm rooms or whatever. So we reached out, looked at LinkedIn, Reddit, and just said that, oh, it looks like you're building something amazing. Would you like to be featured on our website? And they were like, really happy to be. And that's how we started. And then, of course, founders have been reaching out to us as well. So that's how we kind of got these founders.
Yeah, the strategy is really amazing, and yeah, like you start with cold outreach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally amazing. You also building the Hackberry part, okay? So what it is? I just saw that it's something that providing kids and teachers to about robotics coding kind of thing. So what it is? Could you please describe more about that?
Yeah, sure. So Hackberry is something we started I started this with a school friend of mine, and we've been running it for a few years. What we do at Hackberry is basically we teach children between grade 1 to grade 10 coding and AI. And we started off with B2C, but also work with schools, which is a B2B as well. And we train teachers. They use our curriculum, they use our learning management system, and using our LMS and our curriculum and our resources, they take that forward into their schools. So then they teach their students. So we've been doing this for the last few years. It's really interesting to see how when we started, people didn't know what coding was, and there was no awareness about that. And now everyone knows what coding is, and now everyone wants to learn AI as well. So, um, you know, Hackberry is something that a lot of people have done in terms of we started. I mean, we're a Mumbai-based company, so we started in person, went online post COVID, are in schools, and it's been a great journey.
That's yeah, that's amazing. But right now, currently, how many state that you are operating through for the Hackberry part? How many schools that you are actually using your product?
So we've over the last few years we've taught over like 25,000 students across schools, and so it's been a lot of students across various schools.
Okay, okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
One more thing is that you are someone who lived with entrepreneurs. Like there are so many Gen Z's founders that you actually train, and you actually saw them to from idea to execution to building the product kind of journey. So let's talk
Yeah.
about that part. The very first step of building any product is the ideation part, right? Currently, I saw that what people do, they go to Chat GPT, they use Gemini Cloud to getting the ideas, and they just try building the product. Especially if you are into the coding background, so they are fast executor. They just got the idea and execute the things. But the biggest mistake that they committed is didn't validate that idea, right? And if you don't validate that idea, just build the product. Your product is nothing. No one gonna to pay you for that. So how you actually teach your kids to validate the idea? What's your framework to validating any sort of idea?
Yeah, I think what happens is when you have an idea, you get really excited about it. You're like, oh wow, this is going to be big, and this is going to be something that I feel like a lot of people need, all of that. And then when you actually ask them, like, okay, the first step that I would say when we are starting to validate an idea is, more than validating an idea, is this a problem that someone requires a solution to, right? Is it a problem that one requires someone to find a solution for? Because if it's not a problem for you and I, or it's only for like the person who has an idea, then it's probably not a problem worth solving for. So that's step number one, to actually see whether that is something that one needs to go ahead and actually find something that, to solve that. And then you kind of go into actually talking to people, right? A lot of people start with saying that it's a brilliant idea. I feel like it'll do really well. And then you ask them, like, okay, how many people have you spoken to about this? Is this a problem that they also feel they want something, want someone to solve? And that customer discovery, the customer feedback, and getting surveys done by and actually finding out the root cause of the root problem, that's why you know that, okay, this is a problem, this is an idea that one really needs to work on, and there is a demand for this idea, and there is something that people really want a solution for. So that customer discovery, talking to people, finding out what their pain points are, and honestly, really listening to what they want and listening to what they have to say is how you can get your answers and how you can build a product that actually works. So, validating an idea is not a quick process. I mean, it can be quick if you talk to a lot of people, but first starting with find out, is this a problem worth solving for? Then going forward, talking to people. And that's where you really, really discover like, okay, these are the things that I need in my product. Look at what the competition is doing. Look at how you can make your product better. Look at what the customer really wants. Listen to the customer, and then you can actually go forward.
Okay, if I describe, just take example of it. I
Yeah.
have something to build into the real estate industry. For example, in the brokerage side, I just want to build a B2B SaaS.
Hmm.
So what you mean is that instead of directly jumped into it, we have to first talk with at least 20 to 30 brokers about the problem part, then the solution part that we are offering, then try to analyze their feasibility. If that actually demand in the market, then definitely they all will validate those part. Then executing on something will make sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first you have to see whether is this a problem that all the brokers have.
Yes.
If you're building a solution for them and they feel like this is not something they is a problem for them, then what is the point, right? So you have
Right.
to first find out for the brokers that is this a problem. Forget the solution part of it. I'm saying first look at the problem. Is this actually a problem for you? Do you think you would use a platform like this, a SaaS platform, which would, I mean, first of all, that's not the right way to ask the question. So asking questions need to be done in a way that actually get you to listen more and get them to talk more, so then you can actually hear what their pain is and what annoys them and what frustrates them, right? So you have to try and structure your questions in a way that you would ask them, and you wouldn't directly ask them, would you use this platform, right? You want to first find out what their pains are, and then once you understand that, then try and create something that would actually solve their pain. So definitely, if you are someone who's, you know, creating something, first see whether the brokers would want something like that. And then after talking to them, find that the right solution, then it would be really easy for you to sell it, because you already understood what their pain point is and you already understood what they want and how you can actually solve it to the best of your ability.
Got it. So after, for example, we have discussed about the getting the idea part, validating the idea part. The third step would be, that is a two-way of the third step. The very first one is executing part. Many founders goes into the executing part. Many of them are go into the marketing part. Like there are two kind of perceptions here. The very first kind of guy is actually believe in building product, especially they are tech guy. The second kind of people are someone who believe in the marketing the product. They try to build the audience first, then build the product for it. So what is the best way? Is it both are the best way, or what particular is the best way? Like people have so many confusion around this thing.
You know, you look at these influencers, they have created something, right? But that probably works in certain areas. If you are a fashion influencer and you have this huge amount of following, following you to do with your fashion and how your style is and all of that, and then if you come up with a, say, a fashion line or a makeup line, then you would automatically have that follower. But if you don't have, I mean, that's how most people start a business, right? They start a
Yes.
business without having that entire following or that entire community. And that is also totally fine. I mean, what happens is when you can start small. You don't have to be some large company from the beginning. You start small. You see, like I said, small, testing things, see the feedback, understand what the customer wants, and iterate and then go back. So it's a process, and you can do it either ways. But if you don't have that community and you don't have that following, I would say starting small is great, because you can actually understand. Sometimes starting large and realizing you're not giving them the right product or the right solution can also like not work.
Got it. So if you have following, then go with that marketing part. But if you don't have, then shift toward the building part, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So let's talk about the building part. What happened is some founders have that technical expertise. They will be able to build that things, right? But many non-technical founders, they don't have coding knowledges. they still have to build the product. And right now, every single product is a software product, majority of them actually. So, how do they approach this particular part? Do they have to find a co founder, a technical co founder, or do they have to use AI tools and just go with that?
Honestly, if you look at the, today, you see a lot more solo founders out there. I mean, I think maybe a year ago, I would have been like, you should have a co-founder because it's always good to have a sounding board. You split the work, you have someone whose strengths are great in a particular area, you have your strengths, and then that, you have co-founders to build, and I think that really helps. Um, but it's not like you can't build solo, and it's not like you can't get a co-founder later as well. I would say if you have an idea, you're not finding the right co-founder, because again, having a right co-founder is extremely important. It can't be someone you don't know at all, because then that will have another set of huge problems later. So you should know the person well. You should know what their strengths are. I mean, I think it shouldn't be someone you just met and say like, okay, let's start a business, right? It has to be someone you trust. You feel like the person would be right for the business, and also what are they bringing to it. So that's one. And if you don't know coding, if you don't know, you're not technical in nature, get someone to do it for you. You can hire someone. And if you feel like you have that ability to actually create it on your own, you can always use these no code. I mean, now AI has, like I said, there's Lovable, there's Wix, there's I think Vercel, there's, Canva has stuff. So there's a lot of, depending on what your product is and how complicated it is. And if you think you can build it, then great. If you can't, there's always ways to source it out, to get someone to do it, to help you. And that's how you start. So you don't have to be like so scared of that, because I feel like that will come.
Okay, if I summarize, is that the more of the story is that you don't have to stop. First of all, if you don't have the technical abilities, first try to hire a people freelancer, and if you don't be able to do that, find co-founder, technical co-founder. But if you don't find those guys, just shift towards the AI tool. There are plenty of tools. Use it, build it, right?
Absolutely, because that's what we also do in StarterSky. We have our idea to launch program where it's very practical. We focus on creating that, right? We tell them that you build something, you ship it, you get feedback, you iterate. So you have to constantly be doing that to be able to see what's working, what's not working, and get feedback. So even in this case, if you don't have, all the tools, you start small, figure out how it works, show it to a few people, get some feedback, and then change, iterate, and relaunch.
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally makes sense. Okay, so we covered the building part. Now, next part is the marketing part, right? Which is something that so many technical founders are actually lacking. They know how to build the product, but they don't know how to sell it. So, what's your framework? How you teaches your kids to selling anything? You have some product. Just take example of I build a SaaS into the fashion industry, fashion tech, but I don't know how to sell it. So, what kind of framework that I have to follow to sell that product?
Yeah. So one of the things you need to do is, one is, who is your customer, right? That's where you start. What is your
Yeah.
customer persona? Or how would you define your customer? Is your customer between 20 to 25-year-old? Are they before, like, in college, early college? What is their demographic in terms of, are they male, are they female? Who are you looking at, right? So you have to go really deep into this and define who your customer is. Once you know your customer is, then you go deeper into that and saying that, where does my customer hang out? So if you're looking at a fashion, someone who's really interested in fashion, then you would be like, are they someone who go to malls often, or are they someone who buy online often? You have to see where they hang out. Are they, where do they hang out online, and where do they hang out offline? Because now everyone is online and offline. So in terms of online, are they people who are on LinkedIn? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Reddit? Where are they hanging out? um, are they on Facebook groups? I know they're pretty much dead, but is there a market there? So see where they're hanging out, and you should also be there. Offline, are they hanging out in coffee shops? Are they going to malls? Are they going to, like, certain, say, gaming zones? Where are they hanging out? Figure out where they're going. Are they on Discord servers? What are they doing? And you should be part of it. But it doesn't mean you go be part of it and just bombard them with questions. What you need to do is be there, also engage with them in a way that, you build a relationship, build some trust, and then slowly as time passes, then you could obviously tell them about what you're doing and kind of once you build that relationship. So I would say figure out who your customer is, then go deeper into, what exactly their likes, dislikes, all of that is, see where they hang out, and then kind of build a relationship with them to kind of find your first customers.
So try to observe your customer. It could be where they are hanging out. Just try to see what kind of talks that they are actually do. Observe it. That will actually help us to market our product, right?
Yeah, and you can also, have start building a relationship with them, see what they feel again they lack, or what, if you're talking about fashion, if you're talking about a particular segment, see what they think is the problem there. Or, if they feel like there's a particular type of fashion that, new trends that are not coming in here in India, or whatever it is, see what their viewpoint is to get a better understanding of what the customer wants.
Yes, got it. Okay, so after the marketing the product, let's come to the last part, which is the paid customer part. I just have the idea, build product, I validate it, I market it, I got some sort of users as well. Now
Hmm.
my next target is to convert my user into my paid customer, and this is something, it's a kind to be a very typical situation with all of the SaaS founders, because there are so many audiences price sensitive, right? So how to build that pricing model for that customer? Just take example of fashion industry that I was talking about. So how we actually monetize my product to getting my paid customer of it?
Yeah. So again, depends exactly on what your product is and what you're doing. But see, there are different ways of doing it, right? There is, are you looking at a subscription based model?
Just take example
Uh,
of that.
yeah, a subscription based model, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
you would have a free product, you would have, one which is a little pricier, and then one over that. So typically it's about between 3 to 5 options of pricing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is when you usually do five, I would, and you are very new in the market, um, add a few things that could value add, right? If you're looking at fashion, if you're looking at, giving them, if you start with a newsletter, you can have certain things that, okay, if you do subscribe to us, if you have subscribed to us, then you would get access to XYZ as well. So you have to kind of entice them in a way that, okay, for free this is what you get, but if you are a paid customer, these are the 10 other things that you will get, these are the resources you will get, or you'll get a, you tie up with somebody else, another partner or another fashion label, and then you say you get discount here. You have that additional value that they see, okay, this is why I should be paying for it, right? Because if you feel like there's no difference between your free and paid, then why would I pay?
Yeah,
So what are the
absolutely.
additional benefits that I'm getting by paying, and why should I be paying? Because I will be getting XYZ plus all these other things, right? So you have to show them that by paying, you're going to, get a huge amount of value from that.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Like, if there is no any difference between your premium product and the freemium product, why people will buy it? And your premium product should be add a lot of value into their life. Only then they will purchase my product, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. The another thing would be is that could you please tell us a case study of one of your student? They have come with you some sort of idea in their mind, and how you help them in Starter Sky, or it could be Hackberry, to actually execute their idea into the very well way and launch it. We just want to hear that story from you.
Sure. So, in our programs, we have our idea to launch program where actually most students come up with an idea. We start with the validation part of it, where you see whether this is a problem that needs some solution. And once you find that, then we talk to the customers, we kind of get feedback from them, see what they're saying, what your product needs in terms of features, how do you sort of build your USP, how are you better than your competitors, and then actually build something. So like I said, you might not have the coding background, but you can build something from scratch using a basic MVP, using say even Google Forms or using Canva or using Wix or using whatever, to be able to actually get that out there and then actually show people that, look, this is what you've done. And then how you get your customers, right? That's when you send it to them. And see, every time you start maybe with your friends and family, but those aren't the right people to start with. So how do you go out there in the market? And like I said earlier, you know who your customer is, and you actually go to the places that your customer might be
Hang
um,
out.
hanging out at, right? So then that's how you actually go there, talk to them. See, it can be hard in the beginning, and I think when you're learning together in a cohort, like how we are doing it together with students, everyone's coming back with their feedback. They're coming back with what people are talking about their program, I mean about their product. And when you're actually discussing it together, you feel like, okay, you're part of something. Everyone is doing it, has a similar journey. Because it is hard, in the beginning, to actually go out there, talk to people, show them what you're doing, and say that, look, this is something that I'm not sure about. But you have to build that little bit of confidence, try and talk to a stranger out there, and see, sometimes they might just not listen to you or just ignore you. But how do you kind of push that? And they have to learn how to face rejection also. So go out there, talk to people, figure it out, and then that's how you're going to make your product better. So if that's your goal, then you won't mind all the rejection, and you won't mind the people who just kind of brush you away, and then that's how you do it. So learning together, learning in a cohort, I feel like a lot of people feel like, okay, there are other 10 kids, 10 students with me doing something similar, and then that's how you kind of motivate each other, push each other, and go forward. So you know um, I think Gen Z and this generation is a lot more in terms of, they're okay with failure. They're okay with taking that risk. Sometimes you get out of your comfort zone and you feel like, okay, it's fine. But the in Starter Sky, what we're trying to do is have quick programs that actually get them to launch really fast, so that they have quick feedback also.
Hmm.
So you shift fast and you iterate faster, and then you make it better, right? So you don't have to like take 6 months to actually figure out what you want and get feedback and all. It's like either to launch quick, get customers, get feedback. If it's working, amazing. If it's not, pivot, change, whatever. But don't take so much time. The idea is to be quick. You know how they say fail fast. So just go with it and see how it's going, and then kind of iterate as you go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, got it, got it. So Gen Z is something that you spend your like Starter Sky is actually built for the Gen Z entrepreneurs, right? And you are someone who spent so much time with it, train them into that part. And you also hang out with so many entrepreneurs. They are millennials and like older as well. So what particular quality that you observe in Gen Z founder have that those founder don't have? So what it is? I'm curious to know about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think working and talking to so many of these Gen Z founders has kind of changed how I see entrepreneurship, because I feel like certain things that we probably grew up with, they don't have the same mindset. So I think what makes them different, one of them is failure. I think if something doesn't work, they tweet about it, they write about it, they talk about it, they learn, and they just move on. There's no real ego attached there. I think the older generations, millennials, we kind of treat failure as like a this big shameful thing that, oh my god, it happens, and oh my god, kind of thing. But Gen Z treats it like a probably like a bad date. It sucks, but there's another one tomorrow, so just move on. um, and then I feel like even risk is another thing. They completely redefine it. They don't see it as like starting without funding as a risky move, or like they want to stay stuck in something, and that doesn't fulfill them, right? They don't see that as risky. The kind of shift that in their mindset is that they're doing things not in terms of security, but they're looking at it more as in terms of it being impactful, or to fulfill what they want to do. So I think that's failures one, risk is the other. And the third thing I would say is, which I mentioned earlier, is um, speed and moving really fast, right? I think they are all about shipping fast, iterating fast, sometimes maybe too fast, but they don't always let those ideas just stick. I feel like sometimes, I think we kind of think like, oh, what will happen, this, that, think about 100 scenarios. But I think in their world, it's just like move quickly, figure it out, you know, some action forward, and then you'll get your answer, right? You don't have to
Sure.
like really, really ponder over it. And, so I feel like totally learned that, you can be uh, more authentic. You don't have to take yourself too seriously. Gen Z also reminds us that building should be fun, it should be creative, it should make us feel alive. And you don't want to really grind yourself on the ground for like certain metrics. You want to enjoy the journey, you want to like feel it, and you want to really like feel the entire process of it, right? And that's super refreshing, and I think that's something we all need to remember.
Yeah. And one more thing, like that you have mentioned is that Gen Zs are too fast. They don't like entertain the idea; they actually execute it, which is their code skill set and the best power that you can say that. But on the other hand, Gen Zs are also impatient. They have very less patience as compared to millennials. So, what do you think? Is it a good thing about them, or is it a bad thing about them?
So yeah, honestly, I think it works in both ways, right? I mean, to be quick and fast, like is failing fast, and I would say, the YCs of the world say that to kind of fail fast, and that's how you do it. Of course, the impatience is something that I would say, you need to have that patience, because starting up is not, something that happens. You don't get success
Overnight, yeah.
immediately, yeah, overnight. And that the success stories that we see are usually the ones that have taken time to get where they are.
Right.
So I think you need to have a little bit of a balance between both, having that patience as well as going fast. So that's something one needs to work on and, realize. So even when you're starting off, you should have realistic expectations that, okay, this will take me 1 year, 2 years, 5 years to build it out. If you think that in 3 months you're going to get some amazing success, then you're setting yourself up for failure, and that's not going to help. But if you have that patience to build, if you know at the back of your mind that, look, this is going to take a little time, then I think you will get there.
Got it. So, what is the selection process of Starter Sky? Like, do you take any sort of entrance test to taking these kind of kits? To basically, what you guys are do is you take the brains and like curious brain and put them together in a one room. Definitely, if curious brain in a one room, there will something innovation came from that because someone say that if you hang out with five best people, you will be the next one, right? So, if you like, what's the process for getting into it? You take some entrance, what it is?
No, so for our programs, what we do is we have an application process. We have, certain things that we would just ask founders. There's no real specific, we just want to know what your idea is or what you're thinking and your mindset kind of is. Because we don't want people who just start, with us and then realize that, oh, they want to drop out, or they're not serious about it, or they're just doing it for the heck of it. So there is a process in terms of an application, but beyond that, that's how we do. And in terms of actually featuring founders on our website, we look at what they've actually done. We have a little conversation with them. They have to have been in their startup, or their product has to be in the market for at least a year for us to be able to feature them. So for founders for our programs, we make sure that they basically have an application form, fill it, and if they are selected, then they would get to know that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like what will be the energies there if all the curious mind are present in a single room in a single community. It's the same feeling like what I get into the incubation center. So like they discuss about ideas, products. So I just want to know more about what kind of vibe that actually came into that part.
Yeah, it's a very exciting vibe. I think, imagine like everyone's excited about their idea and you put them all together. So I think the room can be pretty electric. Though it's online for now, so I think but bringing that energy into the online programs is pretty great as well. And I think As we go ahead, we'll see more outcomes and we'll see more results of how it's going for them. But it's great to be in the company of these Gen Z founders who actually have super ideas, who are very enthusiastic and are there to build something, right? So then that really is a great feeling to be part of it.
Yeah. So, like, do you guys are tackling any particular industries, or you are open for all the industries? Like, could you please describe what kind of products that Gen Z's founder are building in Starter Sky?
I think it's sector agnostic. There's no real sector that we're looking at. People are coming with small projects to start with because have 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds who've never done anything before, but they want to start and they want to understand what it is to be a founder. To someone who's looking at a full-fledged e-commerce website, to do with sporting equipment, to someone actually wanting to start a cafe, to someone wanting to. So it's a combination of small ideas to like large ideas, and figuring out how to go about it. So no sectors in particular, but just someone having good idea and actually seeing there's a problem one needs to solve, and then having that determination, that um, you know actual enthusiasm to go forward and take your idea to actually launch something.
Yeah, got it. So, when you first started as a Starter Sky, like this program that we are talking about right now, so
Yeah.
especially the kids, they have around 16 to 17. They are mostly into their high schools. And we saw that Indian parents have some sort of mindset is that they should focus on the boards part, focus on the study part, go to engineering, take a good job, this kind of mindset. So how you actually
Yeah.
convince the parents to know this cohort is something that actually, bright their futures. Entrepreneurs is something that exists in now state, because right now, if you go to tier 2, tier 3 cities of India, people actually have still have that sort of mindset is that going to the good college, study hard, go to job, which is good always, but they are not too familiar with the entrepreneurship. So in the starting time, how you actually convince those kind of customers for your product?
Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, entrepreneurship is something that earlier was not looked up as something that, oh, you should do. Engineer, doctor, lawyer,
Yeah.
those were the things that one would look at. But now I think with Shark Tank, with a lot more exposure to starting something, I think parents are more open to it. They realize that, entrepreneurship is something that one should learn, or kind of start with, and I feel like it's going to get better. I feel like over the next few years you're going to see a lot more founders coming, and it's not like you're looking at unicorns. You want only unicorns, but even smaller profitable companies that are going to come there, right? It's not going to be just large companies, but you're going to see solo founders, you're going to see more creators, and I feel like we already are, right? You're already looking at those kind of people. So I think the next wave of founders are going to come from everywhere, and that's what's really exciting. We're going to see from smaller cities, from different backgrounds, from high schools, kids who aren't really waiting for the right time or the right credentials. They're just starting. So I think over the next 5 years, we'll see the whole idea of starting up will evolve. It won't be just about raising capital and building that crazy business. We'll see the smaller ones building sustainable businesses. So I think barriers are falling. Tools are more accessible. There's more knowledge out there, and I think what one really needs is belief, believing that you can do it, and finding others that who believe in you as well. So I feel like that's where Starter Sky really comes, where we want to help students take that first step, whether it's through our programs, our community, or our support and mentorship. I think we want to be the space where you can come, even when if your college or your school doesn't offer entrepreneurship, you can come to us. You be part of our programs, or you be part of our community, and you kind of just grow together. So we want to be that ecosystem where we kind of act as your first believer in a way. And through our programs, we want to help you actually launch a program, launch a product, and then kind of be around that energy of other builders, so you're not alone in this journey, which I feel like a lot of times people are. So in short, I think we want to help you build the proof that you can actually do it, whether you're doing it for a college application, for just for yourself, for your companies to show on your resume, or for just your future. So I feel like there's a lot of scope in this space.
Got it. You also work with Gen Z's founder from the abroad countries as well. So, what you have noticed? What's the difference between Gen Z's founder in Europe, US, or in India? What kind of thing that they have advantage, and what kind of thing that we have the advantage?
Well, I think, honestly, we're looking more at India, but we have spoken to a lot of people out of India in that sense. And I think at the core, we're all the same. We all have belief in something. We want to create something, we want to build something, and are excited about it and want it to work. So I think that pretty much the core of entrepreneurship is the same everywhere. Um, but obviously, everyone has different access to different things, right? So I think if you look abroad, um, it's more, it's easier to kind of start something in that sense because it's more widely um, sort of okay to do it, as opposed to here where now it's growing, where people are okay with their kids starting something. So I think in terms of the difference is probably there. And also I would say in say in a US and all, they would probably have more access to say funds at a younger age, as opposed to where we would here, because there they have a lot of grants, they have a lot of these sorry, a lot of more uh, ways to kind of get the funding if you are doing something incredible. So here I think people are yet discovering, not sure how to go about it. If you don't have the money, you can't start. So it's kind of that, those basic initial struggles.
So that actually in their mindset, right? But people could be go ahead if they don't have money as well, right?
Absolutely. I feel like you can go ahead. I mean, if you do start something, which obviously, if it's very capital intensive, then it's hard to start. But if it is something that you need basic amount of just skills, or you need basic amount of website and things like that, you can definitely start.
Yeah. Okay, let's take example. Imagine a kid. They are around 16 to 17-year old in a tier 3 cities in India, and they are actually watching our conversation. They want to get into the entrepreneurship, but they don't have funds to starting it. So what's
Hmm.
your advice to them to how to get started with it? So what you want to say to them?
I would say start. It doesn't matter how small you do it, even if you start as a project, because I feel like a lot of times you might not have the capacity or the bandwidth or the mental space to also create something large. You can start small, whilst you're in college, whilst you're in school, and then build as you grow ahead, right? You don't have to have that full structure and full everything done from day one. People pivot, people iterate, people expand at any given time. So the idea is just start, and start small. I mean, be consistent and kind of work your way towards building it to a larger
Audience, yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, so doesn't matter at which stage you are, just get started and throughout the journey you will figure it out how to do the next thing, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the actual beauty of entrepreneurship as well. Many founders start from the nothing and they build, big empires there.
Yeah, and
Next,
here's the thing, like, whether you're eventually starting your own business or you decide maybe it's not for you, when you're learning about startups, you're learning about so much in life, right? In more ways than you can think. You learn how to sell, you learn how to communicate, you learn how to handle rejection, how to solve problems. I mean, these are skills that you will learn for life, and they'll help you anywhere and everywhere. So that's sort of what entrepreneurship also teaches you, right?
yeah, absolutely. Like sales, marketing, and the communication. It's a kind to be the core skill set that every college should definitely teach in every
Yeah.
stage of life. That actually help us a lot. The another thing is that what is your source of information? I mean, how Anisha Parikh actually teach themselves to these kind of things.
Oh, what is my source of information? Honestly, I read a lot. I also have mentors. I well, hopefully, yet call myself curious in terms of wanting to know what's happening out there. I think, again, for me, I think learning never stops. So for me also, every day I'm learning, and not only through what I'm doing, but talking to different people, looking at all these founders who are starting something. I'm learning from a 16-year-old as much as I'm learning from a 24-year-old, right? So I think that um, my my way of getting things is from other people, from looking at what's happening in the world, and constantly making sure that I'm also trying to learn and upskill myself.
Do you read books or listen any podcast?
I do listen to podcasts. How I build this by Guy Raz. I
Yeah.
do read books also. You know, on a constant basis, I feel like I do read, and it has to be a sometimes I'm listening to a lot of podcasts, and then I'm not reading, but then I'm reading a lot. So I have phases of what I do, but I also subscribe to some newsletters, and I just like to be I'm knowing what's happening. But of course, you can get really lost in that also. So I keep time for what these kind of things as well.
Absolutely. Could you recommend any 2 to 3 books that every entrepreneur should definitely read if they want to build something their own?
Yeah, I mean, I think Atomic Habits by James Clear is one of my best books ever. Then um, this Neville Ravikant's book, that's another, like, The
Alchemist of
Almanac.
Navalagi. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I really like Shoe Dog, Phil Knight. It's a great book on how entire Nike kind of was started and built.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think there's so many books out there, honestly. So I feel like uh, so much to kind of read and learn from. But yeah, these would be the few books that I read that I
Awesome.
would recommend. Yeah.
Awesome. After 5 years, where you look at to start a Sky or Hackberry, like what's your milestone that you've set it to? Like after 5 years, we have to achieve at least this level of thing. So what's your vision for it after 5 years?
Yeah, so I think for Starter Sky, I would say, we're building a community right now of, young founders also, and we're trying to uh, create something that, you want to be part of. And whenever you have any issues, you have problems, you have doubts, or you want to ask somebody something, you think about Starter Sky. So I feel like we want to make it a community that one associates building or just starting up with. And I feel like that's something that we really want. We definitely want to be the um, sorry, the people who can help you in your journey. So um, we feel like we don't want founders or Gen Z to feel like we're stuck at any given point. So we want to be that community, the place where you can learn, grow, and get support also, right, at every stage. So mentorship everywhere. And of course, we want to be someone who helps you at every stage. So in terms of your actual, if you don't have a co-founder, come to Startup Sky, right? We can help you in every way that you can. So the vision for Startup Sky, I would say in 5 years would probably be something like an incubator, but who's your friend as well, and who can help you at every sort of stage that you go by. So we help at every stage so that we make your journey really easy. All you need to do is actually focus on the product and get it out there. But we'll be a support system in everything that you do as you go in your journey.
So we can say that a one-stop solutions for the early stage startups. That is something that you vision for your product, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can be at -1 also when you start. We will help you take that -1 to 0 and then 0 to 1.
Hmm. Okay, got it. Okay, so let's coming back to the last question of this conversation, which is if you go to your childhood, just imagine Anisha Parikh is a 16-year-old right now. So,
Mhm.
what kind of particular advice that you give it to your younger self that this is something that you have to do if you really want to grow into life? So, what that could be?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I would probably tell myself that just go for it. Don't be scared and don't feel like you don't have it within you. I think believe in yourself, start whatever it is. Even if you fail, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, every failure that one has, I would say, is a learning. And it's just that we define it as failure, but I feel like that is an actual learning. So I would tell myself that, you know, this is the age to learn, to grasp, to make mistakes, to be able to see what you're doing, to get feedback, to show the world out there what you are capable of. And don't doubt yourself and feel like, okay, maybe you're not, good enough for it, because everyone has certain skills that are just waiting to come out, right? I mean, if you give someone an opportunity, then they can use that opportunity to do something. So if you don't give yourself that right or that opportunity, you'll never see where you're going to grow and how you're going to grow. So I would say just, try and grab as many opportunities as you can, start something, and see how it goes, and just be yourself.
Yes, let's be yourself and start executing. Forget about what people will say. Stop self
Yeah,
doubt
I,
yourself.
I mean, you're doing it for yourself, right? I
Yes.
mean, even when you're starting something, do it for yourself, forget the rest, forget the noise.
Yeah, yeah, that totally makes sense. So thank you so much for joining our conversation, Anisha. It's really lovely to talking with you. Did you enjoy this podcast?
No, thank you so much, Ashish. I had a really good time as well. And I think just hopefully people out there, when they hear your podcast, I think hopefully they feel like they want to do something, and they aren't stuck, or they feel like they can do it. So I hope that comes across.
Absolutely. Okay, so
Yeah.
again, I repeat, thank you so much. Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. All right, so that's all of our today's conversation of Builder Talk. I hope you all guys are actually enjoying these conversations. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. And if you really feel worthful, so definitely try to share it with someone who are really curious about building the things. Happy Diwali and take care of your life. Bye bye.